Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here the Watchman, and I am just so pleased today to have a guest on the Watchman Report who has joined us for a few of the Hear the Watchman conferences. A very unique lady with a very unique product, uh, and she's here to talk about a lot of different things. And her name is Lucinda Bailey. The company is Texas Ready. You can find them at texasready.net. Lucinda, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, Mike and Jeannie, it is a privilege to reconnect with you folks. You're some of my favorites. We pray for you regularly. You've got a good following out there and a great message.
Well, God bless you and thank you for saying that. You know, before we get into the whole structure of the interview and what we want to talk to you about, and what we're going to talk about today, folks, is all across the country, it's planting season. And, you know, with everything going on, the likelihood of the grocery stores, the shelves going empty is highly possible. And, you know, you see that across America, anywhere there's a disaster, when you see a warning of a disaster or after a disaster, you see the grocery stores decimated. You see other countries right now around the world where they're decimated. Venezuela being one of them, just completely decimated. So being able to prepare and being able to plant and being able to sow the seeds to reap your own crop is going to be very, very important as we move forward. But before we get into the meat of that, Lucinda, now you've done a few Hear the Watchman conferences. What do you see happening at these conferences?
I see people coming in that may have not been energized or have a passionate view of the Lord or spiritual things, coming in and experiencing the love of God. There's a tremendous spiritual flavor, but they're learning practical things. They're learning some things that they didn't learn by sitting on a pew and not doing anything for 25 years. They're getting activated. And this might be a time where you experience an inner healing, experience actual physical healing, which is just exciting to see that the Lord would touch them in that way. And they worship with people from many different faiths. We are seeing that the walls that have divided us, denominational walls, tradition walls, those are all going away. And in your conferences, it's just the body of Christ that loves the Lord Jesus. That's the end product of coming to a weekend like you offer.
Well, awesome. Thank you for having that view of what's going on. That's one of the clearest views and to the point views of what happens at the Hear the Watchman conferences that I've certainly heard. Now, Lucinda, let's get into this. You know, it is time to plant all across the country. It's definitely spring right now. And, you know, what are people, I guess the biggest question, I mean, I had this problem. I planted a garden one time and I went out there and I planted a whole bunch of different seeds and I didn't keep track of where they were. And when stuff started growing, we had no idea what was what. So what does someone need? You know, what do they want to plant in their garden?
Plant the things that your families enjoy, but do consult your agriculture county representative, sometimes called the AgriLife representative. Your tax dollars pay for that, and it's a county-wide service. They will tell you what effectively grows in your area and when to plant it. Because a lot of times we just buy seed packets from the box stores and so forth, and they sell on a national model. And, you know, if you're living in Maine, some of those things might not, you know, be applicable for your region. So what you want to do is talk to your county ag agent. Sometimes a master gardener will be on the telephone line to help you out. They'll let you know when to start planting what in your area. Not everything grows. In my area, rhubarb, for example, does not grow. That's a shame. But different parts of the country, their soils are warming up at a different pace. And beans, for example, will rot in the ground if they experience temperatures under 65 degrees plus moisture. That's a guarantee that the bean is going to fail and it won't germinate. And so it'd be very important to know when to plant stuff, and your ag agent is a great resource.
Wow, that's great advice. You know, I mean, there's so many reasons that you could need to have a garden. I mean, it could be a disaster. It simply could be a downturn in the economy, or it just could be that you know, someone maybe loses their job, or a societal collapse, right?
Absolutely. There's better nutrition will for sure be something that your family enjoys if you have a backyard garden. They've done studies from the University of Pennsylvania, their home ec department and science department, food science department, and they've determined that if something is picked today and it arrives on your plate, having gone through the grocery store chain and so forth, 14 days is about average. The nutrition that was in that pack of beans has been decreased by 50% because of the longevity from picking to your plate. So that's one of the great things that a garden can supply, is much better nutrition for your family.
Very, that's just great stuff to think about, folks. Now, you know, Lucinda, Texas Ready, and that, folks, again, is texasready.net, N-E-T. You guys sell heirloom seeds. Now, that's a big buzzword out there. Now, can you explain what those are? Because some people are confused about, you know, GMOs, hybrids, open pollinated, and heirloom seeds. What do they all mean?
Okay, great. To put it very simply, there are two kinds of seeds. You could either be an open pollinated seed, or it could be a hybrid. The open pollinated seeds are the ones that our great grandparents used. They were stable seeds. They reproduced true to type year after year if the people protected the genetic purity. And because they didn't have a plethora of hybrids all throughout the system, there was very little danger that the wind or the bees would bring hybrid pollen and contaminate their seed stock. So they would plant that watermelon, eat that Charleston Gray, beautiful July 4th watermelon, save the seeds, dry them, and use them in the ground safely the following years. And that's how our great-grandparents gardened. But now that we have large, massive corporate seed companies that want to own the rights of food production, they want to patent the seed and prevent you and I from growing, they have introduced hybrids. Now, hybrids have been around since Noah. They've been around because nature can create hybrids. It's rare, but it does occur. That human beings for the last 100 years have established hybrids, and they truthfully are very, very strong and productive. The problem is that in a self-sustainable mindset, it might not be expedient to go to the box store and try to find seeds. It may be too dangerous to do that. I foresee a time when you and I are going to have to be providing for our own family and being sort of a self-contained unit. And if that is the case, then you must use an open pollinated variety. The hybrid is something that is not stable. There are 3 results in garden number 2 from a hybrid. 50% are sterile like a mule, 25% revert up the genetic chain, and 25% are actual mutants. You plant a cucumber seed and you get a gourd. That is not a good outcome for someone that's in the preparedness mind, wants to be food self-sustainable. So we can't use hybrids because they're unstable. In the open pollinated category, we can use them over and over again if we maintain the genetic purity, and that's a whole nother discussion down the road. But if an open pollinated seed has been around for 25 consistent generations and the production is the same year by year by year, then that is super stable. That would be called an heirloom. And those are the only kind of seeds that Texas Ready sells, are the most stable of all.
Interesting. So by using heirlooms, yeah, I mean, are you really getting a realistic view about how you can plan to provide for your family for, say, a year?
Absolutely. With the heirloom seeds, our goal is to sell you a bank or a collection of those seeds that will cover all your nutritional needs that can be obtained from the vegetable garden. In other words, we've got several different ways that we're going to get niacin to you. Vitamin A, vitamin C. You might not like broccoli, but if we can get you eating Brussels sprouts or cabbage or something, we can supplement what the broccoli would have offered you had you decided that that was something your family enjoyed. So we provide 80 plus varieties in each of the kits so that your family can get adequate nutrition. And we have these kits packaged. And what we did was use a 4-person kit that would, we on a quarter-acre subdivision lot, we have a growing strategy so that lot in the backyard with 6 beds that are 4 foot wide by 30 foot long, that should produce over 4,000 pounds of food using our seeds and our growing system so that family of 4 would have adequate nutrition. I would always prefer that they would, move on to having chickens or goats or something like that, but it might not be possible in a quarter-acre subdivision lot. So therefore, we want a very good food foundation with the vegetable garden, and that's what Texas Ready has put together. We have 2-person kits, 4-person kits, 6-person kits, 12, and then the big daddy of all, the 30-person, oh my gosh, the church has just shown up. What do we do? Kit. So we're trying to put these kits in logical, nutritional, and eating, collections, and that's what Texas Ready has done.
Wow,
but the good news, Mike, is that God has given us the resources and the knowledge as culture to adequately provide for your family. God said in Genesis, I have given you the seed. That means he's given us the means of food production. Now, for too long, America has, transferred that to Kroger's, H-E-B, Berkshire Brothers, any of your local, grocery stores. But now we know that they do not have our food interests at heart. We've put our ladder of trust up against them, but we have found them to be deficient in considering us first. So therefore, we need to take the means of food production away from the unscrupulous corporations that do not have our family's interests at heart.
Wow, well said. Now, Jeannie visited you last year, and
Yep.
she mentioned that you have a greenhouse and a complete array of vegetables growing on right there on your own property. So, as beginners, what do we do to get started? What special tips do you have for us?
Oh, that's a great question. Gardening can be overwhelming, and I don't want it to be. I want to break it down to something easy. And so what I would recommend for the absolute beginner who's never had dirt under their fingernail is purchase some seedlings. These might be 8 inches tall. They might be 12-inch tall tomatoes and so forth. There's no problem with doing that. This is practice. Well, this isn't where you're going to end up, but it's a great start. Keep that plant alive for 90 days, and you're going to learn a ton in that process. But also plant a few of the very easiest of vegetable beans. And I did mention the temperature is an issue, but once the temperatures in the dirt exceed 65 degrees, then beans are some of the easiest things to germinate. They germinate quickly. The kids just love watching them grow. And you can do both bush beans, which would grow up about 18 inches tall, or you might even try pole beans, which will grow 6 foot, 8 foot tall. And it's so spectacular because they produce food for the family for 16 weeks. That's nearly the entire summer. So that's very exciting. So I would start with beans, and then you can move on to other things like carrots and lettuces and other great vegetables.
Wow. That sounds like just getting started that way. It sounds like kind of a fun thing to do for a family. So, what skills do we do we have to have, or do we have to know to provide all of our food for our families?
You're going to have to learn how to start plants indoors in seed trays. That's one skill, because that will buy you some extra time at the beginning of your season. Now, you're from, the Great Northwest, the Idaho area, and so forth, and your growing season's a lot less than what I enjoy in Texas. But you could actually extend your growing season by about 60 days, both at the front end by starting your seeds indoors, and at the back end by having plastic covers that would go over the vegetables that are frost sensitive. So you could extend your harvest that way. So the first skill is to start things indoors in seed trays, and we have books on our website that would be perfect for giving you further instructions. Second thing, as you progress in your gardening expertise, you're going to have to learn how to save your seeds so you can repeat that in the future. And then thirdly, you've got to learn how to properly mineralize or provide the plant nutrition so that you can have a great garden and produce the 4,000 pounds of food that we think is entirely possible for a family of 4 on a quarter-acre subdivision lot. And again, there's many resources that we sell here, books, and we actually do provide the minerals that are necessary. You've got to think of your dirt as a bank. And as that tomato plant is growing, it's extracting, it's pulling off those rich mineral deposits that you put into the garden earlier before you even transplanted that tomato plant into that dirt. And at the end of the season, the goal is to get that soil to be back at net neutral, and then you'll revitalize that soil by mineralizing in a certain way, and we teach you how to do all that. We provide the minerals as well. So the 3 skills, again, would be starting seeds indoors, learning how to properly save your seeds, and learning how to provide plant nutrition in the right manner and in the right quantity. And once you learn that, you will be an extremely successful gardener.
Wow, that's exciting. Now, Lucinda, I mean, you mentioned that you have some books, and I've seen your books. Jeannie has a couple of your books. And people, the best way to get a hold of that, then, Lucinda, would be to go to www.texasready.net, N-E-T. That is the best way for people to find you, correct? Absolutely. And this is another service we do for the Watchmen team and family, is you can pick up the phone and call me direct, 832-493-1357, with your gardening questions. We give you free telephone consultation Monday through Thursday. Now, I'm usually at an event Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I won't talk to you then, but this way someone can get some immediate help, and the frustration level can be knocked down several notches. Because I think in 5 minutes we can probably get you on the right path. Yeah. So again, can you repeat that phone number for me?
3293-1357.
Awesome. Well, Lucinda, thank you so much for joining us today and for being a part of the Hear the Watchman family. And folks, that is truly an exciting thing for you to take advantage of. You can call Lucinda. The days, again, they can call are Monday through Thursday.
Correct.
So Monday through Thursday, call Lucinda and ask her a question about what you need to do and how to get started. Or maybe you've already gotten started and you're having a problem and you need some help. Take advantage of this offer. Call Lucinda today. Lucinda, again, thank you so much. God bless you for all you're doing to help us prepare for what's coming down the line.
Thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate you guys, and we're in prayer about this next event that's coming in Idaho. It should be a great event.
Well, Lucinda, we'll talk to you again soon. Hope to see you in Idaho. Folks, what she's talking about is the next Hear the Watchman conference in Boise, Idaho, August 18th through the 21st. Signs in the Heavenlies, the Redemption Convention. You don't want to miss this one. We're going to all go out on the 21st to witness the total eclipse of the sun from the top, from the top mountaintops of the Continental Divide. And folks, it's going to be unbelievable. So go to hearthewatchmen.com and check out everything that's going on. Get your tickets now. Early bird special on tickets is available until the 15th of this month. Great Mother's Day present, guys. So think about it. Go out there. And until the next time we see you on the Watchman's Report, God bless each and every one of you. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.